Okay, ready?
Yes.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to JJB and Friends Holiday Series. I am so grateful to have my dear friend Sandra Lupo here joining us today. Sandra Lupo is the inventor of the Conetastic tool. This is a tool that's produced by Beetalon, correct, Sandra?
Correct. That's right. Manufactured by Beetalon.
Manufactured by Beetalon, but beyond that, Sandra has been a friend of Sarah James, myself, and Jesse James Beats for quite some time. She is a jewelry designer. She is a ballroom dancer, an entrepreneur, and an inventor. Sandra, you are so creative and amazing. Thank you for coming and sharing this time with us and the Jesse James Beats crew today. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Very, very well. I'm anticipating the holidays, having a lot of fun. Very grateful also to be here with you and to be able to work with your phenomenal bead mixes for the holidays. I can't get enough of them. They're fabulous. They're fabulous.
We had so much fun making these mixes. We really, really did. They are Christmas to a T. And it's so wonderful to hear from you that is such a creative spirit. And you are a namesake in this industry. You've been doing what you do for a long time. You're so creative. Your jewelry designs are amazing. Sandra was just showing them to me before we started recording, and just wait for that. But Sandra, tell us a little bit about you. How did you start such a creative life?
Well, actually, I did not train to be creative. I actually worked in corporate after high school and during college, and lived in the city, New York. Come from Brooklyn.
Wow.
And I have a history, a lineage of jewelers, fine jewelers in the family. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, my uncles. And so although I always had fine jewelry around me, I did appreciate it, but I didn't really understand the workings of it or how to make it, how to repair it. And I was intrigued. So having raised two children, but wanting to get back in the workforce and not in corporate, I was feeling very creative then. I started doing things like bread baking, furniture refinishing, upholstering. And I said, why am I not taking some jewelry courses and getting back into that? So I joined a metalsmithing society, and that's how I started. So actually beading I was always a hippie beader anyway, but I did work at a bead shop, and I managed it while the kids were at school. And then I was home for them when they came in. And so I learned a lot. I learned a lot without a gemology degree. I learned about gemology, and I could tell you the name of any jasper or agate that was on the walls in the shop that I was working in. And design was it just came out of me. I just love designing, and most importantly, sharing. So I ended up teaching classes, specifically wire working, but I also did hand knotting and all sorts of things. So I'm well versed in the jewelry making arts, and that's how I ended up in the do-it-yourself market. With regard to Conetastic, it was just the next step, because I was teaching wire working classes, and at that time there really wasn't a lot of tools and gadgets to work with, like wire twisters and all of that. So I fell back on my metalworking experience and knowledge, and started working mandrel, the concept of a mandrel, where it's a shaping device. And before I knew it, I turned from a pencil to shape a cone to actually unlimited use of mandrels in my designs. And that's how I ended up designing and inventing Conetastic.
Wow, that is quite a legacy, Sandra. For one, Sandra and I have been friends for some time. I didn't know that you were from Brooklyn. That is really cool.
Yeah, born and bred of
Yes, anyone that's from New York City or particularly Brooklyn, like you've got a little extra swagger to you. I see now. I see a little bit more
That's
of where it
true.
comes from.
Yeah, it's
I
true. You can't take the Brooklyn out of the girl. No way. No
love
way.
that. I love it. I love it so much. So, okay, we just talked about Conetastic and how it was that it came to be that you felt there was a need for a tool like this. Share with us, what is Conetastic? For those of us that are watching that don't know too much about Conetastic, can you give us a rundown like Conetastic 101?
Okay. So I'm working, I can actually work on my table to show you. My hands are right there. All right, here is the tool. Conetastic is a hand tool. I'm going to show it to you up here. Okay, you see this? Conetastic is a hand tool that fits nicely in your work box, your craft box. And when you take it's a heavy-handed tool. It's made of steel. When you unscrew the top, out fall 3 mandrels, and they're sized as small, medium, large, and then also there is a short Allen wrench that fits in there, and that works to allow the mandrels to sit into the cone base. The Conetastic base is for your hands to hold the tool. And I'm just going to turn it so you can see. There is the guide hole where the Allen wrench goes in. All right, slight turn. But first, I really should put in a mandrel so you see how it works. There's a flat part right here. I'm going to try to catch the light on it. See that flash? That's the flat part. Line the flat part up with the guide hole. That's this hole right here. Okay. Then take that little Allen wrench and make a slight turn, probably just a quarter turn. Keep that, you see that little hole there? Keep that visible because that's going to be your anchor for your wire. All right. So I turned it basically about 3/4 on the clock. Okay. So it's sitting in here and it's ready for me to hold and to insert some wire. So let me take the artistic wire. This is a 20 gauge. And I believe that now JJB, Jesse James Beats, has it in their catalog also.
We
The
sure do.
burgundy is really nice, really nice. You can see it up against, this is Sarah's Mountain Mistletoe holiday kit. And I really love it. And even though there's a lot of red in there, there's still black and white plaid. And I think that the burgundy can work very nicely with it too. So it doesn't have to be all red and green in any case. All right. So what I'm going to do is just for the sake of showing you how to do this, I'm putting the wire into the guide hole. Now, people ask all the time, what is the best gauge? And I will have to tell you that I use a range of gauges that suits the particular mandrel that I'm using. So this is the very smallest one. This is the baby mandrel that is in here. So I would choose to use a 20 gauge or a 22 gauge. And I think that is, first of all, 20 gauges, it's probably the most popular gauge of wire. I can put an 18 gauge. The lower the gauge, lower the number, the thicker the gauge. So let me just try this, show you. I can work from the spool, so you're conserving wire, but allow yourself plenty of wire so the wire doesn't get stuck on, underneath the tool or whatever. I just place a little bit of the wire into the guide hole, and now I make a turn. And I like to see what I'm doing. So my thumb and index finger are my workers, and this happens to be my dominant hand. I hold the tool with my non-dominant. For me, I find it's better to be able to just do the twisting with the non-dominant, but allow my worker fingers to be the guide and to lay down each wire. So watch this now. Okay. And I hold it sort of horizontal, and you can see that little by little, I am creating a coil. Now the guide hole is here. I haven't covered the guide hole, it's free. So as the wire works up. I use my index finger and my thumb to make certain that none of the wire bounces back. It will only bounce back if you don't keep your eye on it. You could pick up a little speed, and if there's any gapping, there's a tiny bit of gapping, it will go away once you take the wire cone that you've made off of the mandrel, and then you can, well, what's the technical term? You can smush it. You can, you can compress it. All right.
You know what,
Okay.
Sandra, in this Jesse James Beads and Friends holiday series that we've had every Tuesday at 3 p.m., the holiday season,
Yes.
we have come up with all kinds of words to add to our beaders technical dictionary. And I say technical with quotation marks.
Right. Smush, shimmy, scooch.
Ooh, I like shimmy. Yeah, shimmy and scooch.
Shimmy it down. And of course, you're always massaging the beads. That's another word that people say, what? Why you're massaging the beads? Yes, you're massaging the beads so they all sit on the wire nicely. Okay, I've come to the tip. And before I cut away, I'm going to make certain that I use the back of my cutter. So this is a bead-along cutter. We really like this one. There's one in a green handle, and this happens to be the blue handle. You see the flatness of the back of the cutter? That is what you put up against the end of the wire. But don't take it off yet. There's another little trick I want to show you, just so you know. Remember, a mandrel is a shaping device. So whatever you put on there, whether it's sheet metal, a very thin sheet metal, or specifically wire, you can take a bent nose pliers or a chain nose pliers and do a little bit of compressing against the mandrel. The mandrel is steel, it's strong enough. This way, you don't have that little pokey feeling of the end of the wire. Shape it now before you take it off of the mandrel. So that's a cute little tip. Okay, now I'm going to come in again with my cutter and release the wire from the guide hole. Just a little snip. And what do I have? I have a lovely little cone. Now, if there is some gapping, I can press it down with my fingers. Watch this. Once I have a head pin in there or some wire and some beads on each end, then you lose that gapping. Or if I like the gapping and I want to enhance the gapping, watch this. I can actually create a coil, still has a coil shape, but now I can put some tiny little beads in this one. And you will see that some of my examples, and I'll bring this one into view here. This one actually, I'm bringing it up so you can see. This is a cone made with the medium mandrel. And then what I did is I enhanced the idea of putting beads in by pulling the coil out gently but firmly, but it does come out. And this way you've got a Christmas tree, of course, and the beads are fabulous in there. They're shimmery and shining and everything shows, and it's a great dangle. So I think I would like to show you how to make this one. And this was with the kit that is, I'm going to bring the kit into view. It had, I've kind of mixed them together, but it had greens and pinks, and it is called Holiday Pop. And I actually love this mix because it is a modern lines, very nice linear, and yet the colors are so vintage and retro for the 50s and the 60s, and I just love it. So that's what I used for this particular design, this earring right here. Okay, there's another one that I would love to show, and this includes some of the other kit that I'm working with, and that is this is also from the holiday mix that is called Holiday Pop, but it also has some of the reds of this mix, which is Modern Mistletoe. Again, I I love the feeling I get from these colors and shapes and these textures. And so I'll show you some designs that I've worked with that that utilize this. And
Sandra,
just
I'm so glad you love the bead mixes. These
I
projects
do.
are so cool. I love both of them. And what you said about the holiday pop mix with the color palette, really, that was our exact intention was to have a retro yet modern feel. So I'm glad
Wow.
we hit the
Well,
mark.
you did it right. You did it right. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I could see myself wearing these definitely, definitely.
Oh my gosh, they match your sweater. Looks beautiful.
Yes, they do. Well, I am wearing like like a forest green and a raspberry. So I wore that specific. I love color. I'm a sap for color. So I wore that specifically so that if I put this on, it would work. What other information would you like to know about the tool itself?
Show us those other two necklaces, Sandra, and then I want to see you make those Christmas tree earrings. Those are so dang cool.
Okay. All right. Let me clean my spot a little bit. And can I just bring in the bracelet first?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. All right. I'm going to spotlight.
Okay. All right. Let me move it. Okay. So this was from both the holiday and the Mount Mistletoe. There's some beautiful wood as well as the plaids. In this, I kept the colorways to be the greens and the more natural colors, the browns. And what I did is I took this large, there are beautifully, what do you call these? Pandora-like beads? What are you calling the large hole beads?
We call them just that, large hole beads.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there you go. Well, there are plenty of them and among the mixes. And I decided to utilize the green one, this one here, as the focal. And what I did is I took the medium-sized mandrel and I created with 16 gauge wire. That's a thick one. I created a open cone on both sides and then literally put them into, I shoved them into the hole in the bead and they're anchored there and it creates a beautiful focal. So this is a fun bracelet and it's strung on beadle-on 49 strand, 24.024. We all like that one. There are others too, but the thickest wire, the better.
I love that you made the cones out of, did you say 16 or 14 gauge?
16 gauge thick wire in the non-tarnished silver.
What a cool component that is.
Yeah, it's fun. And everything is secure. Everything is fluid and seamless. That's the thing that the Conetastic mandrels can create for you. They can allow you to have a seamless look because you really can anchor the wire around the beads or into a bead. And then you just have one component after another, right down to the clasp in the back.
Wow.
And I do a lot of this as a bracelet with the heavier gauge wire because it's more secure. But there is, the beads anchor it and create fill in the hole, fill in the top diameter. So this is a fun bracelet. I really would recommend playing with the Jesse James beads and also some focal cones with the large hole beads are fabulous.
Excellent.
Okay. The other thing that I did using some suede that you have in your
get ready for this one, everybody.
All
this
right.
Is so beautiful.
Okay, so this is a flat suede and I created a necklace, again using those large hole beads. But if you look, I'll bring this up to the camera so perhaps you can see. The suede is on the back of this grouping of beads, and also there's a wire. The wire runs alongside through all the beads. All of the beads are large enough for this 16 gauge green artistic wire. Okay. Then I added a mini cone right here. I'll show you. Let's see if right there. That's a mini cone and it wraps around this bead And the wire, the thicker wire underneath, as well as the suede, come out onto the side. And then I added a little bit of, I think this is an 18 gauge wire, just to create a cone that is so open, but it serves a purpose. It's gathered, the suede, to give it a little bit of a flare or more dimension. And then I used one of the, I think these were in the mistletoe, mountain mistletoe, and a little tulip shape. So this is just an easy necklace to wear, lots of color, and just tie it in the back. And you can also fashion this as a bracelet, certainly, because all of these beads, and the wire that I use, a 16 gauge wire that I've wrapped at the end and run through, are suitable for a bracelet.
Sandra, you know, I love having you come on the Jesse James channel to show us how to use the Conetastic tool in such different ways. How beautiful are these cone gathered components? It's just so elegant, so unique, so it's head turning, Sandra. This piece is truly beautiful.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a jewelry maker. So when I see color, texture, shape in beads, I know that I can make something wonderful, and that can actually be even more functional, because I have the support of good wire and Conetastic to like finishing touches, as well as integral components. Okay, let me just bring into view the necklace that you asked, and it just so happens it's from the mistletoe mix, which is right here. And this wonderful leatherette component would be fabulous as earrings, but I chose to do it as a pendant. And you can see I've layered it with, oh, there are so many beautiful snowflakes in these kits. Yeah, we've got some green ones, some white ones with gold trim. They're lovely. So here is the component, very lightweight. I could really put an ear hook in here and make it an earring, but I chose to take some of those mountain mistletoe beads, and I created a cone on the large mandrel, which I'm just going to put right here next to it so you can see for scale. This wire component, this cone, came off of here. And this is a 16 gauge non-tarnished artistic wire in silver.
You know,
right.
Sandra, I really love what you've done here with the buffalo plaid, the plaid leatherette component, because I believe that, you know, when most people have seen this mix, the thought was that it would be just earrings. So to see you take this and turn it into a really cool pendant using that Conetastic, it's really great. It's just superb, Sandra.
I stopped at this point, but you know, Sarah, I could have gone a little further. I could have taken a hole punch and punched a little hole here and added, I could have added Mr. Snowman, but I decided just to leave it the way it was. But certainly there are two snowmen in the kit that are just so sweet. So you've got your snowflakes and your snowmen. Working down, what did you call this chain? This is
that
reaction.
is our chain reaction. That's a fan favorite, that chain reaction.
Well, I love it. I love the fact that it has the crystal cubes. I love the fact that the metal, the shapes in the metal, the oblong shape is really nice, marquee shape. And then, of course, need to have some beads in the chain. So I added some of the, I made a station on each side. And now when you think about it, this in itself could be an earring dangle to complete the set. There you go. So
I was so impressed by this piece when you showed me when you shared this with me just before the video today. Wow. I just think it's so cool, Sandra. And this is just this is a great showing of Sandra Lupo's panache as a jewelry maker. The component with the big component that comes in the bead mix with a handmade component using the Conetastic, then the chain reaction with the square beads that matches the check that we're seeing here on the plaid, and then the little plaid bead accoutrement, the little extra little secret spot up here at the top of the necklace is just so adorable.
Thank
Really,
you.
really cute.
Thank you. I really enjoyed doing all of this. You know, Conetastic, or regardless whether I always use Conetastic as a component. It's just, it's second nature to me.
Mhm.
But I can't help but maximize my jewelry making experience by just having some fun with it and doing, you know, seeing that the components are so versatile. You could do so much with them.
Yeah, you really said it about having fun with it.
Yeah.
And that's something that these coils, these springs really do add to jewelry. And I love everything that you just showed us right now. What are we making? Are we making earrings? Earrings are my favorite.
Yeah, let's make an earring. Let's
Okay.
make an earring. Okay. Earring. Let me clear the board here
Do it.
and get some of the things out. And I think we're going to make this earring here, which is, I'll show you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to let you choose because I have the parts all ready for either the hoop dangle or the Christmas tree with the beads in it.
Sandra, we need a Christmas tree. We need a Conetastic Christmas tree. Absolutely. Let's do that one.
Great.
My eye went immediately to that piece. And the Conetastic is the perfect tool to make a tree. And this is a tree like I have never seen before with Conetastic.
Hey, all right. So it's an open cone, and I'm going to utilize a artistic wire, but I'm going to make it a little different color. I'm going to use the burgundy. I'm going to be a little daring and make a burgundy tree. It doesn't always have to be green. Okay. So this was made, and yeah, here we go. This one was made on the medium mandrel. So I'm going to pull out the medium mandrel and I'm going to show you. All right, so in terms of to scale, you can see that I put the wire on here and then I elongated it. And let me take out the components. I put them over there. All right, now let me show you this and then I'm going to make it for you. This is the second of the pair that I would assemble for this demonstration. What I liked, here's another little tip. With regard to earrings, when I make a cone, I make a second one almost immediately so that I can count the number of rounds that I did on the wire. I can trim it in the same way. And then I know that when I go back to it and assemble the earrings, the parts, the integral part of the wire cone are identical, or almost identical. Okay, so I have the Conetastic tool right here. It's fitted with the medium mandrel, and let me just show you how it would work if I did it with a 20 gauge. Let me bring that over here. Okay, 20 gauge burgundy wire. Okay, I fitted it into the guide hole. And again, I like to make certain that my rounds are horizontal or vertical. I don't want them diagonal. Okay, let's see. Let me just put a little bit more light on this. Okay, I don't want them diagonal. So I make certain that I can see the work as it is laid down. And my thumb and index finger are holding, and the thumb is actually, the pad of my thumb is actually laying down the wire. Now there are no sides here because it's a round mandrel. It's a round cone shape, but you can actually take this. The wire is a copper core, so you can take your thumb and actually press the wire down against the shape, and it will stay there. If you don't, then the wire might double back. I can pick up some speed. Okay.
It's so neat to watch you do this, Sandra.
You can also use any of these mandrels. You can put them into the chuck of a professional coil gizmo, which I believe you do have in your catalog also. Or the chuck of, it has to be a chuck so that you can close down on the shank. This is the shank here, this part here.
Okay. And the chuck is the part that you're holding on to. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
So that would be in the professional coil gizmo, or you could do it in a electric, the screwdriver, like a drill.
Oh,
But
wow.
you need to be able to control the motion. Now, did it double back? It doubled back a little bit because I took my eyes off it. So I'm just rewiring that little section. Hold on
When
a
you
second.
say it double backed, do you mean that that the wire doubled over itself?
Yeah, that last round, because I wasn't watching. My eye went to the camera. Okay. So I just undid it a little bit and now redid it. And I really want to get to the end there, to the tip. Okay, so what do we have here? There's a little bit of science involved here. What happens is the wire wants to hike up to the point. That's the pinnacle. It's the centrifugal force that causes it to come to the tip. If your wire is thinner than 20 gauge, so 22, 24, 26, you're going to have a lot of gapping. The thicker the wire, the less gapping.
Okay.
Keep your eyes on it. And again, you can always correct it by, let's see, I would just before, let me cut away, back of the cutter. Let me take my tool to do the little smushing gently. Okay, gently. You don't want to move the color away from the tip of the wire. All right. And here is the cone. Okay, you can see that there is some little bit of gapping. I can either compress it. Okay, there we go. Or I can elongate it. So now what I've done in the burgundy wire with the medium mandrel is somewhat similar to what I had done in the 18 gauge wire in the green. Okay, so I'm explaining the concept of utilizing the wire cone for your bead and your dangle needs. I could fill this with a head pin, and I could leave some of the wire free. For example, no beads. Here you go. This one is straight wire with a head pin in there, and then this wonderfully sparkly, hold it up, the sparkly gold, a little bit of a rhinestone bead that was from I think that's a holiday mix, the holiday pop.
So cute.
Okay, so we have variety. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this green one and I'm going to duplicate and assemble this for you. Okay. So let me work this way. What have I got? I've got all my parts ready. I will start with this wonderfully little lustery, what is it? It's like a barrel bead. I just love it. It's got some shimmer to it. See that? A little bit of fleck, like a opalescence in there.
So glad you like it, Sandy.
Well, I love stone. I love opal. I love it all. Okay. Next goes this wonderfully large rondelle. Okay. Then I'm going to take this little bead cap. It's in the gold-plated color. And I'm going to put it upside down. So it literally sits into the rondelle. Now, you're seeing some sparkle here, but notice the shape. It might be a little bit hard to view because
it looks like bright. A present. You're making us a little Christmas present for underneath the tree, Sandy. I love it.
Yes, we are. And then I have to keep my wits about me when I'm doing this, because I have to make sure that I put all the beads in the right order, or not. It's up to you. But this works this way. Okay, now, before I put any more beads, I'm going to put the cone on. okay, and fit it in. Okay, now see how nicely it fits into the bead cap and the rondelle?
Truly.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is remove it so that I can continue, pardon me, with my assembly. String it on. String it on and bring it on.
I love the way you say that.
Okay. Now, here's another little trick. I definitely want to get this bead in here. Okay. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to open this up with my fingers so that I can get that bead in there. You can't see what I'm doing just yet, but you will. And then watch this. Okay, not yet. Now this is you see the opening that I made right here?
I do, yes.
Okay, watch this. I'm not going to take the head pin out completely, just enough for me to get this baby in there. And then shimmy it back so that it fits in there. And then I can continue with the beads. Okay, so I'll need another of these. And the last one is this one here. Can't find the hole on this one. Okay. All right, now be patient. Come on now, I didn't open it enough. All right.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And bring this here. And then I can actually continue with another bead or two. I think I chose, I should have chosen a longer wire. Okay, well, you know, I'm going to cut my losses right here and show you how I would finish this. I know you can only see my fingers right now, but this is a delicate surgical procedure here. And sometimes we end up with some troubleshooting needs. Okay. See that? Now I didn't get to fill in those little beads there because I should have had a longer wire so that I could, there was more to work with, but no problem. I can definitely top it with this fabulous shimmery bead, this crystal ball. Okay, and what I'll do is compress it a little bit and make a bend in the wire. And I need a round nose. Where's my round nose? Oh, I'll use this one. Okay. Now I'm making I'm going to complicate it a little bit. I'm going to make it a wrap loop. Okay, so that's the way it looks right now. And I'm just going to take the wire and bring it around. Sometimes I grab it with my fingers, but if the wire is short, then I grab it with, and you can't really see that gold tip, but grab it with the bent nose and wrap it around. I like to use a wrap loop because then the compression of the wire remains where it should be and it never doesn't open up.
That's a good
all I need now. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I said that's a great tip also.
Yeah.
So when you
Yeah.
have your head pin inserted into your cone, you want to do a wrapped loop so that it has a little bit extra compression security to keep that cone in its position that it started with.
Exactly. And don't be afraid of a wrap loop. When I do any kind of jewelry to sell or as gifts, I don't want it coming back to me because the dangle fell off the ear wire, whatever. And I find, particularly for wedding jewelry or any application, if it leaves my workspace, I like to use a wrap loop if possible. This way it's secure. It stays secure.
Look how
So
pretty
here
these
it is.
are.
Yeah, they really are lovely.
Can you turn it the other way, Sandra, on your hand? So we can see it like a
Sure.
Christmas tree. Yes. Oh my
Right.
gosh, this is
There's that
adorable.
one. And here's the original. Now, remember, the original has a few beads in there, but my suggestion is use a long head pin or even just a long piece of wire that you can just close off at the bottom with a little loop. Meredith Roddy makes what does she do? She makes a little knot at the end of,
Yes. Yes,
yeah,
she does. So,
on
but
a
you know
piece
what
of
else
wire.
would be so cute is if you did a wire wrapped loop, or you did a loop at the bottom of your wire rather than using a head pin, you could dangle something at the bottom of
Yeah.
your Christmas tree base.
Let's put that. This is a long pair of earrings, but
Hey,
they could be shoulder dusters.
absolutely.
So that's
so cute.
yeah, that's a demonstration in how to use the various mandrels to create either closed or open Christmas tree cone shapes. Okay.
Sandy, those are so beautiful. I really enjoy watching you work with the Conetastic tool because it truly makes such cool components that can be used as a focal piece, like a Christmas tree earring, or like tight little bound up springs, like we saw with your first bracelet with that 16 gauge wire. Just excellent.
Yeah. It can be focal, it can be functional, it can be supportive for your designs.
I love it. I love it so much, Sandy. And you're so creative and talented. It's just always such a treat for me to be able to hang out with you. And I appreciate you coming on here to Jesse James Beads and sharing your talents and ideas with us.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. And I think I'm seeing you in Tucson.
Yes, that's the plan. I am curious who watching this video will be going to Tucson. I will be there with Jesse James Beads on the little bit of a down low sort of presentation. We're doing a wholesale only show. So if you're a wholesaler, please do reach out. But Sandy, I'm so excited that we are going to be in the same place at the same time. And Tucson is such a vibe. I'm excited. Are you?
It is. Yes, I am. Of course, we missed it in 2021, but I didn't go. The year before, I guess we had just gotten to Tucson and came home. And then the very next month is when, we all, our lives shut down. So I do have fond memories. And I think we had dinner with you. I'm not sure. Did we have dinner with you or drinks?
I think it was the year before actually that I was at dinner with my family and you were with Tammy and Wyatt and we came over and joined you and we shut the restaurant down. We were there till close. They basically had to give us the boot.
Like that.
I love it. I love it. I'm so excited we get to do it again.
Definitely. And I enjoy working with you and I love your enthusiasm for Conetastic, for my designs. It's all good. Oh, East Coast girls. East Coast girls.
That's right. Philly and New York in the house.
Right. That's right. Philly and New York.
So Sandy, tell us before we go, tell us and everyone watching, where can we catch Sandra Lupo, either to purchase your designs or just hang out with you? Where can our fans get in touch with Sandy if they have any questions about anything, Sandra Lupo?
Okay. Well, I do. I have a website and you can also purchase on the website. And let's see, do I have a kit? Yeah, I have a kit that I could just show. This is Christmas tree earrings, but with the old high-end crystals that we don't use anymore.
But more crystals.
But here's your cone shape. And so I do have kits available. And the website is the website is www.sandralupo.com. Sandstones, SANDSSTONES.com. When I was very much into gemology and gemstones, of course, it was Sans apostrophe S Stones, Sandra's Stones. And then I made it into a website and address, you dropped the space. So it became Sandstones.
That's right.
All those S's. Otherwise, I'm Sandra Lupo Designs on Instagram, and I'm Sandra Lupo on Facebook.
So
and certainly I do custom work, I do demos, and I for Beetle on as well. And I love to sell my designs and show them. Some of them are being shown right now in we're out in not Flemington, out in Lambertville, out in Pennsylvania. Some of my necklace designs are being shown today.
Well, Sandra, your necklace designs are amazing. And I'm sure our fans watching are really eager to take their own spin on Conetastic. You can grab the Conetastic at Jesse James Beads, as well as the colored wire and all these colorful bead mixes. But what's so cool is that the Conetastic designs apply. The Conetastic can apply to any jewelry design. It doesn't need to be just holiday, but man, oh man, Sandra, have you made our holiday beads shine? Thank you so much for sharing with us
very
these
well.
really cool designs.
Will you be able to show some of the other earring designs? You'll put up some images for this.
Yes.
Good.
Sandy has sent us some images. We'll get those posted. Feel free to reach out to Sandy on Instagram or Facebook. And you can always reach out to Jesse James Beads. Sandra, it's been great having you here today. Thank you so much again.
Love you much. Take care. I'll see you soon. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too, my friend.
Heart. Bye-bye.
Bye now.